Problem one that is causing you pain and testing your endurance, and that is pressing down on the frets too hard. When most of us learn, this is putting down too much strain on our hands and is causing you that forearm burn that you feel coming all up here throughout the songs. Now, are there some songs that require a bit more, that are exercises in endurance? Yes, but this should not be an every service problem. This should not be a regular occurrence in just fighting to survive to get through the services. Now, let's have a look at this and how we can actually correct it. A lot of us are taught when we're playing bass, when we're taught to play, to squeeze down on the frets, push your finger into the fretboard, which is true, but what we often get is more of a pinching technique. Yeah. Now what this does is it puts a lot of tension on here on your thumb, and you'll probably feel it in your forearm up here too, because you're just constantly squeezing, pinching like this. Now, one cue that may work for you. A lot of players play more flat fingered, so their fingers are a lot more flat like this. And if you play like that, you might actually need a bit more gain in your sound, in your preamp. However you set up going into the desk, you might need a bit more volume to make sure your tone comes through well. But then you've got other issues of if you're switching up styles and the ways you're playing, there might be a lot of variance in the output that you're getting. Sure, you could use a compressor, but that's extra tools to buy. That's extra things that you may not have access to. So let's look at how we can handle this manually. If you are using a more flat-handed technique and you don't have a high gain, you may actually struggle with pressing down on the strings, especially if you've got quite soft pads on your fingers. If you're pressing down more here, you got to press down a lot harder than if you use your tips of the finger. So if I press down on this string hard, you should hopefully see where that line is sitting on my finger, right? I'm using that pad there. Now, when you get started, or if you've not done this before, this is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to potentially hurt a little bit more, but we have to build that so that we get a clean note, because when we build up that little bit of a callus there, those notes come out way easier. You will get a more rounded tone, a more smooth tone with a flat palm, but you're going to have to be a lot more... It takes a bit more pressure from the rest of your hand to do it. So that's tip one. Use the tip of your finger, and you're going to have to use less pressure, because think about it, pressure, force. The wider the surface area, the more force you have to apply to get the same result. So by using that smaller surface area, you actually have to press way less hard. But the limiting factor there, of course, is whether you've built up any calluses and basically how soft the tips of your fingers are. So if that hurts when you do it, that's something you got to build up, but that is an easy way to use less force. The second correction that will work for everyone is to use the weight of your body to help put the force into the neck of the guitar. So it's not just a squeeze action here. You can actually, you're not obviously yanking back on the bass, because you're going to lose the bass and you're not going to be able to play. But just that little bit of the bass into your body, and a little bit of, if you put the bass into your body and you kind of pull back with your arm a bit, kind of pulling from your elbow almost, that's going to add a little bit of extra pressure. To get that strength going.